Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk Podcast, episode 112, recording on Sunday, July 3rd, 2022. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Andrew.
And today we're going to be talking, I predict briefly, about the Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase for June 28th, 2022. We'll go over some of those announcements, maybe touch on a couple other small news stories, but other than that, we'll just talk about what we played. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Happy Canada Day. Happy Independence Day.
That's right. It's in the North Americas. The celebrations are upon us. I heard fireworks outside. Sean did too. So hopefully it doesn't interfere with the show too much. It'll probably, like, my fans are probably louder than the fireworks. So can't be that bad. Anyway, let's get into the Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase. Catchy title. And let's just say straight up, there is almost nothing to talk about here. I can count about 3 or 4 games that I haven't heard about before, B, that I kind of care about. But what would be the big announcement out of this whole thing? Like, let's step back. Out of everything that got announced, what would be the game that journalists or publications latched onto as the big announcement? I have a hard time looking at this and knowing what it would be.
I mean, I think the big game that was shown was the Mario Rabbids sequel, but obviously it's been out. There's been lots of stuff shown already. So
yes, I think you're right. And they also followed that up with a gameplay demonstration. I think Ubisoft streamed that after the fact. So yeah, it's that was probably the big thing. It's definitely the biggest title, I think, here. Although Sunbreak, we've been bombarded, or at least I feel like I have been, with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak stuff because it's coming out soon. I cannot wait till this game is released and I can stop hearing about it. Please. I'm done. All my Humble Bundle stuff, it was coupons for Rise Sunbreak. Everything I watch has Rise Sunbreak. Enough already. I don't want it. You're not going to get me. So it's weird to market a game that seems to have such a dedicated fan base. I feel like I've talked to almost everyone I know about, like, that plays games. Hey, did you try those? Yeah, I tried to get into Monster Hunter. It never happened. Everyone's tried it at some point. If it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen. Stop wasting your money, please, on marketing this game.
We got at least
love it. Know it's coming out.
Yeah, you got to let those people know that it's still coming out.
So that's what opened up the show. It wasn't much, though. It was a semi-cool trailer and a lot of like slides with dates and like support time frames for things and extra content that's going to be added, patch upgrades or whatever. So not a whole lot to talk about there. Let's go then to the Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope and then circle back to some other stuff, because they've definitely tweaked the gameplay for this series. The previous entry was a semi kind of, well, it's turn-based strategy, but it seems to be becoming more of a hybrid. It's not real-time, but you can control the player in more of what the Explore mode was in that game previously. And the way they demonstrated the gameplay started off kind of lame. It was like, we're going to run with this character and slide into an enemy. Then this character is going to go within this circle, slide into an enemy. Okay, I got it. We can slide in enemies. What's next? And then finally they do like kind of a chain attack. But I do find their take on a casual strategy game, this seems a little more intriguing to me than the previous version, although I did like what I played of the previous version. Have you guys played the first installment? Any interest in what you saw in for this game today or earlier in the week?
I played it. I liked it a lot because it was like XCOM. Except
did you beat it?
I did not. I probably got 3/4 of the way through, maybe 2/3. But I was enjoying it. I think I actually hit like a difficulty wall that I had trouble getting past, if I recall. This looks pretty similar to that other game. Like you said, though, a little bit more of maybe the exploration elements, which XCOM doesn't have any of. So I'm looking forward to it. I wouldn't say I'm excited for it, but I like this style of game, and I think it's pretty fun. And yeah, I think I'll check it out when it comes around.
Yeah, I'm always kind of divided and curious about why they revamp combat systems, typically in RPGs and strategy games, even though I'm not a strategy game player usually. But I think back to the South Park games, how I liked the combat in the first South Park, and then they had to add some new system that's like a grid based with columns and shapes. I'm like, did we really need this? Was that the only way to make this game quote unquote better? Were there other ways to change gameplay mechanics or make it more interesting? I was looking at reviews of Origami King, Paper Mario, because it's on sale. And I'm like, do I want to try this? And even in that, it's like they have this rotating circle battle system. And I don't know, I feel like there might be an overcomplication of battle systems and a need for refreshing things in games to a detriment. Obviously, I haven't tried this one yet. I don't know if it's good or bad. But my gut is, you know, if people love the first game, which I feel like people did, is it always a great idea to do something new with combat rather than expanding upon things, changing other aspects of the game? I don't know. What do you guys think? Any games you can think of where it went from, hey, we're going to revamp the combat and now it's a better game? The only one I can think of that's probably debatable for Huck, I'm going to look at you, is Mass Effect. Like Mass Effect completely overhauled and shifted to a more shooter-based combat style in the second one. What games have like drastically changed for the better?
Well, I mean, you could
other than quality of life stuff.
I mean, you could argue Final Fantasy changes every game.
Every time. Yeah, that's a good one of like the RPG example.
Yeah.
It's got to be something new every time.
Yeah, so I mean they do come back to the turn-based aspect a lot, or that's sort of like the base. But they definitely add little tweaks to everything. I mean, like XCOM 2, I think made some changes, but I don't think people liked it. I think there was like some sort of like time limit on the amount of time you had, which people did not like. You know, if you're playing a strategy game, you want to take your time. And I think they added some sort of like, you know, you have to beat it in 10 moves or whatever, 10 rounds.
Oh, it's like a turn limit, not even...
I think so. Yeah.
So just like adding constraints and...
Yeah, basically like you're going to get overwhelmed.
Versus regular chess or whatever, right?
Yeah, kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Final Fantasy is the one that comes to mind where like I really enjoy when they switch it up. I think maybe it ties into that the whole kind of universe is different as well. It's basically like a new game, and it's just like in the Final Fantasy legacy. So maybe that's part of it too. You're not kind of like...
Yeah, I like that. I think we've talked about this before. I love that about Final Fantasy, that they don't reuse stuff. I mean, at least they've gotten some leverage out of assets and game systems by doing like the 13 and 13.2 sequels and 10.2. So I love that Final Fantasy is like, no, we're starting from scratch every time. It's definitely, especially lately, not so much in like their first games, but character and art wise, they did to some degree. But yeah, it just seems like a weird... This is a sequel, and it feels like a big shift.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't think of any great examples of what you're asking, but I feel like in general, the sequel is usually like they kind of iron out maybe some problems that were with the original, and it's usually a bit of an improvement. But then the third one is where they're like, okay, we got to keep adding stuff, and then it gets to be too much, and then it's... But
we've talked about... not exactly the same thing before, but this type of trend happening in the PS2 era, where all those great platformers, Jak and Daxter, Sly, I don't think Ratchet went for it to the same degree, but all those games needing to be open world the next time they did it, and just kind of like killing what makes those games unique. So this Mario new Rabbids game is kind of an exception because...
But I don't know, I don't know if it's that different. Like that sliding thing, that's not really new. I'm pretty sure in the other game they had it. It may not have been a slide, but I'm pretty sure you could do some sort of like initial hit.
Slide was the combat move you would do, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
It's like you have free movement almost. Like you don't select a target and from a position and then the move just plays out. It seems like
I see.
kind of real time.
Well, you know what game did this kind of first, which I love, is Valkyria Chronicles.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so they took this concept of like the real-time third-person action, and basically you would have a move meter, and you can move wherever you want, and the meter drained as you move, and then at the end you could like take another turn if that was like heal or shoot. And I'm actually really surprised that not many other games have used that mechanic, because I felt it was really good, especially in the shooter genre, which is what it is, like a third-person shooter type game. I don't know why more games haven't kind of taken on.
I mean, I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and it's not a strategy game, but it has like an interesting real-time setup that I feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake and probably 15, which I haven't played that much, borrowed from. Probably more 7 Remake, like with these different arts. But I don't know. It'll be interesting because this felt more like a sequel than, a reimagining of it. So it could be good. I think it might actually fit what this game is attempting to be as a casual strategy game that bridges, a Mario player to strategy. So I might check it out. I should go back to the first one because I always like it when I play it, but I'm just not a strategy guy.
Yeah, every time I see stuff for this game, I'm like, okay, I should go back to the other game. And I have liked what I've played, but for some reason it just never clicked more than like, play for an hour, forget about it. Which maybe is a bad sign. I don't know, but
my friend would tell me about how good XCOM was, and I finally tried it on PS3. And one of the great parts of XCOM, even though I didn't finish it, was the cycle of going back to your base and making decisions, and like these kind of 2 phases of gameplay in terms of strategy, and that's kind of missing from this game. Although I do like the world exploration. Anyway, we've talked about this game way too.
One last thing though, are you sure that it is free roaming in the battles? Did you watch the Ubisoft
You have a circle. No, I didn't. You have a circle that it says you could move entirely in when it's your turn.
And that's how it was in the original. And if you watch, so in the original, what you would do is you would click on a guy, and then you would click on where you want to finish. So you would play out your whole move by the turn-based, by basically 2 clicks. And in this, they have no HUD, so you can't really tell what the player is doing. Agreed. They make it appear like you're doing what you're saying, but I suspect it's the exact same as the original game, and they've just removed the HUD, and they're just showing you a really smooth path that the guy takes.
I think they removed a grid-based aspect to it, and it's just an open area. There was a HUD element that showed a circle limiting where you could go.
Yeah, that's in the original too.
Right, but there was a grid, wasn't there?
I don't think so. I think it was XCOM.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe it's just a slicker. Maybe it's.
I guess on October 28th we will know who is correct.
Anyway, I apologize for trying to find more meat on this bone. Actually, there.
I have 2 other quick points here, Frank. One is that Midnight Suns comes out almost the same time as this, which is interesting because they're both kind of XCOM style strategy games. And
at the very least, IP strategy games that are trying to, I think, attract non-strategy players.
Mm-hmm. And with your question about games that change up the combat mechanics, would Resident Evil count?
I don't think so.
What about the third person?
I don't think it's. I think it could be counted as that, but playing 7, it feels like just a camera perspective.
No. I'm talking 1, 2, and 3 shift to Resident Evil 4. It's almost such a huge evolution that it's it doesn't even count. But
yeah, that to me feels like how games changed in general. In terms of how it does count. I won't, I'm not going to say I disagree with you. It's just, it's in this interesting zone of a lot of games play the original Tomb Raider. It's almost unplayable nowadays, or GoldenEye. How much of that is just, okay, now we can move a camera. We don't have to pre-render stuff versus this is how we envision this game being. And now this is just what we can do. So it is a good example, but it is in a bit of a gray zone, I think. I'll lean to your side, though, that it is a big shift. Excuse me. Okay. I think the other big announcement, so to speak, was Persona 5 coming to the Switch, which we'd kind of heard of. That's what they ended with. And also, to a lesser degree, Nier Automata. I always said Automata, and in the Direct they said Nier Automata, the end of your edition. And, I mean, I do not care about this. I love this game, but we've had a sequel. We're moving on. Anyone out of those games that have been released multiple times already on multiple consoles at lower prices, currently available for lower prices, do we care that they're on the Switch?
Nope.
No, and the Persona thing, obviously, it's coming to Xbox too, so that was not a needle mover.
Okay, I guess we'll get into personal needle movers then. I'm going to skip a lot of the announcements. I thought when I first saw Lorelei and the Laser Eye, like as a title, I'm like, this looks really like not for me. An adventure game, kind of detective-y. I thought of Huck for sure. Like this feels like a Huck thing. But when it got to the gameplay montage, and as we talked about before the show, kind of mixing like PS1, N64 graphics and these puzzle mechanics, I thought it looked pretty cool. I know nothing about it, but I thought it was pretty neat.
It's same developer as Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Which is, that's a
love that
good
game.
Thing. But yeah, I was definitely intrigued and thought, I mean, it didn't show a ton, but it was cool.
It was definitely lacking some details that you'd like a little more of, but like, what can you ask for? It's kind of like a teaser trailer or announced trailer, I should say. So, it worked. It was successful in intriguing me as well.
Okay. And then the other game that looked, at least art style wise, that caught my eye was Blanc, a co-op puzzle game.
Big surprise.
Although, the puzzles they showed were, a little trivial. I'm curious to see how they're going to expand upon the mechanics in the game, but what did you guys think of Blanc?
This was definitely a standout, in my opinion, from the Direct. I guess, the one thing is they start off with like this little animated thing and it said not actual gameplay. And eventually they do get to the gameplay, but it put it in this weird zone where I was constantly like, is that the game or is that just for the trailer? I couldn't tell like where the lines were.
I felt the same way. They looked pretty similar.
Yeah, but it looked cool. And yeah, I mean, obviously, just a co-op puzzle game. I'm into that. So I'll be keeping my eye open for this.
I thought the animation was really nice. I agree with you, Frank. The puzzles looked pretty simplistic, but it definitely had a neat art style and caught your eye when you see it. Kind of reminded me of like Echochrome art style, obviously, but like
White Swan. I think was that a game?
Unfinished Swan.
Unfinished Swan.
Yeah,
it was White
Swan.
But yeah, I mean, it's
paper.
Published. Also, apparently published by Gearbox.
Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, it's like, I feel like black and white games are a thing. Like that's kind of a way to get noticed. But I haven't seen one that's so fluidly animated and black and white. It's kind of a standout thing. So
okay, I'm going to go over. Well, we got to do Return to Monkey Island. I forgot about that one. So had this been announced before? I think it was, right?
Yes.
So it is a sequel to Monkey Island 2, a new game in the Ron Gilbert series of this game. Sean, this is your area. You got your statue back there. Is it still kicking around there?
No, it got smashed. Remember?
Completely smashed? I know it was broken at one point.
No, remember you guys were over and Kieran knocked it off that shelf and it was just like
obliterated?
Oh yeah. Went straight in the garbage.
I don't remember the obliteration, but what do you think? Are you pumped for this game? You want to talk about the surrounding stuff?
Yeah, well, so I am looking forward to it. And And obviously there's been this sort of controversy, I guess, or like a lot of people talking about the art style because, talking about, okay, going back and making a direct sequel to Monkey Island 2 with the original team, everybody was expecting it's going to be the same style pixel art. It's going to look exactly the same as the first two games. And this is the first time we've really seen what the game looks like. And it's not. It's kind of this...
vector graphics.
Yeah, and I don't know how to describe the art style. It actually reminded me a bit of Drinkbox.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
They do vector art as well. That's
but even like the vector elements, like that's similar, but also just the art style. Like I don't know. There's sort of this exaggerated style to it, and like the colors, it definitely reminded me of Drinkbox. Now I will say the animation itself looked a little, there wasn't a lot to it. It wasn't fluid. It felt very kind of stiff, and I wasn't loving that. But in general, I thought the art style kind of worked for the series for what it is, and I was like, okay, this seems to make sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at it again. I wasn't aware, like it doesn't look like a debacle. I don't know if it's my favorite art style ever, but I don't think it looks bad by any means.
No, but apparently a lot of people were really upset that it was not the original pixel art style. A lot of people posting very negative things, and Ron Gilbert was kind of put out a statement on Twitter saying like, that's it, we're not showing anything else from this game until it ships, basically. Which is interesting. Just, it kind of like Frank and I were talking before the show, kind of got filed under the idea of like toxic fandom, which I understand to a degree. Like, I don't know specifically what kind of comments were being left, but I mean, same thing happened with Sonic Frontiers. Like, you show a game and people don't like it, they're going to voice their concerns. So I don't know, like, if they're, it's hard for me to say, like, if fans are crossing a line or if they're just like, this isn't what we thought it was going to be. They're disappointed.
I'm sure fans can cross lines, like with anything, but it's like, if people love the art style, they would want that, right? Like, that's when you show something off, maybe there are people saying they love the art style, and it's like two sides. I don't know. I know nothing about what people are saying about this game, but yeah, I don't know. If anything, you can just take a little comfort, I guess, although you probably can't do much at this point, that that's what people think, and you either have to do what Sonic does every time and do whatever the fans tell them to do, or stick to your guns and hope that that's a Wind Waker situation where everyone's mad and then they play it and like, yeah, you need to tell us what we want. We might react negatively initially, but eventually you'll win us over because you've thought it through more than we have, because you're making the game. So you just got to ignore them and have confidence in what you're doing.
I mean, and Ron Gilbert's last game, Thimbleweed Park, was the original art style, and I don't think it sold that well. So I think he has a reason for switching it up and going with something a little different. And Thimbleweed Park, I didn't play through the whole way, but it was okay. It was a very classic Scum Engine style game, and I didn't really like the cave, which I believe was the game that he worked on before Thimbleweed Park. So I'm not that excited for this game. I'll wait and see. I'm definitely open to it, but I don't have high hopes for it. I think I've kind of soured on this style of 2D adventure game.
Yeah, aside from games I've played before and I already know I like, I could say definitively there has never been a live or a stream presentation with as many games from genres I don't care about. It's adventure games and strategy and simulator games. So if you like those types of games, you probably saw a lot you liked in this Nintendo Direct. If you don't, your needle ain't going anywhere. Trust me. It's going to some other presentations or videos or something, because this, I guess Railgrade looked interesting. Don't think it's my kind of game. And lastly, I'll say, in terms of genres I like, Little Noah Scion of Paradise was kind of an RPG rogue-like that caught my eye. And
Is that the one that kind of looked like Smash Brothers?
Yeah. No. Are you thinking of like the items you would collect in Dragon Quest Treasures? That reminded me of Smash Brothers.
I'm not sure. No,
But,
I think it was Lil Noah. I don't know if it was just the art style or how the combat was going.
The menus for Little Noah reminded me of Xenoblade a lot, and then Dragon Quest Treasures reminded me of the statues and trophies you would collect in Smash Brothers. But that game looked good. It's out on Steam as well, so I think it's only $17 on Steam. I might give it a poke, but I'm looking down the list. Everything else, not. Oh, I guess Portal was the big thing. That's finally coming. Now, Portal Companion Collection, is that 1 and 2?
It is.
Okay.
Okay, before we get to that, what were you going to say, Huck?
I was going to say that Railgrade game is by Epic.
Oh, yeah?
Epic Games, yeah. Which
It
is
looks-
not
it
what I
looks
was
like an
expecting.
Epic.
Yeah, so this Portal thing, when I saw the Aperture logo or whatever, I thought for sure it was going to be that new game, like Aperture Desk Job or whatever it's called, that comes with the Steam Deck. I thought for sure they were like just going to port it to the Switch or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess like it's kind of cool to be able to go back and play Portal. I have actually recently fired up
Portal 1
2,
come out 15 years ago or so? Like, isn't it that old?
Yeah, and now it's on a console that's made for Portal, the Switch. It's perfect for Portal.
I should have known. I should have thought of that.
Perfect console for this game.
Well, I guess,
Definitely.
you know, for like, I don't know how hard it is. Like I have it on PS3, which is what I recently was playing it on. Obviously, you can still get it on Steam. If you don't have a PS3, what would you be playing?
Xbox.
With?
You can buy the orange box on Xbox.
Steam. I think Orange Box is back compat with
I would think so.
other
Yeah,
Xboxes too.
that's only Portal 1 though. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just if you don't have any of the old consoles, maybe this is nice to be able to go back and play it. But
Opinion: the Switch is the perfect console to play Portal on for the first time. Let's see them. Where are the articles? Get them ready. You know what? I missed one game that looks great, but I have trust. Sean, it's on his radar too, and he's going to say the one I forgot. Sean, go. Which game did I miss that looks great?
I don't know. I'm going through the list and I don't see anything.
See,
I've got one.
The title is
got
not
one.
good. Yeah.
RPG Time.
You
The Legend
got
of
it.
Right.
The guy who crammed before the show comes through.
Of course I did. I've got the video right up here. I'm scanning it. Scanning those chapter markers.
Yeah, this game, not a good title. Like, I did not remember the title at all. But
Yeah,
cool art style and concept.
I'm kind of getting it mixed up with like 2 or 3 other games. I feel like, isn't there like some pen and paper RPG game that kind of is like this? And it says here that this is already out for Xbox and PC as well.
Really?
I don't know when.
We've definitely seen this game before, and I am interested in it only because like I worked on a prototype that was kind of similar to this years and years ago. So it's kind of cool to see this art style, and yeah, I thought it might be out already on other platforms, but I didn't know for sure.
Yeah, it definitely caught my eye. Got to improve that title though. It does not land.
Yeah, it came out in September on Steam anyway.
Is it on sale right now on this?
No, it
Steam?
says planned release date. I just searched it. Planned release date on Steam.
Oh, you're right. It's this year.
So it's early access. It could be early access.
No,
on
it's not out yet. No, not out yet.
But I definitely, now that I'm looking at some of the screenshots, I definitely remember seeing this somewhere before.
Though the one I'm looking at is all Japanese for some reason. I don't know if I've done something odd to my Steam. I may have made a mistake here.
Anyway, that's the last thing I would draw a note to. Anything else you guys want to touch on?
I don't know, is the new Bomberman game of interest?
I was going to bring this up, but did any of us play Super Bomberman R1?
No.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I do enjoy Bomberman games, but I'm not I don't know which is which. I've played a few of them.
I should have added Bomberman to my most overrated franchise when we do that list.
Okay, fair enough.
The only one I could think of, the only other thing I could think of to talk about is I was surprised at how many like farming simulator games there were showing. There was like definitely 2, possibly 3, maybe even more.
Well, there's Harvestella,
the Disney game, Disney Dreamlight Valley. Would you even count like the Dragon Quest game kind of as like a farming game? Maybe, I don't know. I guess not.
Harvestella, the second to last game, is like a
yes, for sure,
it's a 3D Stardew Valley.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I was surprised that they showed. And I thought there was one other game that
Doraemon, the Doraemon one, Story of the Seasons or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. That one. Yeah. So I was surprised that they had so many kind of in that genre in like such a short direct. But you know, I guess
the genre already
selling
with Viva Pinata. Don't waste your time. Go back.
Stardew Valley. You haven't played Stardew Valley, so you don't know.
I've tried it. I don't get it.
Ooh,
I don't get it. But I've not given it enough time to say it's bad. And I tried it on a Vita, and it did not support touchscreen. And I was like, what?
Yeah, Vita is not the way to play that game.
Yeah, I got to try it on PC. Okay, I hope I'm not contradicting myself here, but I'm going to say we do not give letter grades to mini showcases.
It's fine by me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I won't even dignify a mini showcase with a letter.
From what they've been saying, Nintendo is just breaking up all their E3 stuff into shorter, smaller directs. So there probably is another direct coming with more first-party stuff in the near future.
Yeah, and I guess just to touch on it, there was a rumor that seems to be a pretty substantial rumor that God of War Ragnarok was going to have its release date announced this week as well, and that got shut down too. So it seems like it's still lining up for this year, which is a surprise to me. Maybe that will happen in the near future. I'm surprised they haven't like said or announced a PS5 version of the first God of War. I know it works on PS5 with like some updates, but a new kind of actual game version on PS5 to try to.
You know what? I bet they don't really need. I played it like maybe a month or 2 ago, and it still looks incredible. Like even just with whatever natural kind of like up-resing they're doing on it, I don't really know if they think they need to waste their time doing
that's true. You're right.
Master or whatever they want to call it.
I was going to say I want to play it again, but I would just auto pop the trophies anyway. So who am I kidding? I'll play it on Steam.
It looked it's weird. I don't know. Like it says there is a free upgrade for PS5 for God of War, but I guess it's just like frame rate and stuff like that.
I think it
like,
just detects that you're playing it on a PS5 and
yeah, you get the boost. It probably boosts some stuff.
Okay.
You're saying you're going to avoid auto pop?
No, I was like, I'd like to play it again, but who am I kidding? I would just auto pop the trophies and
and then have no point in playing it. I see.
Yeah, I'll just play it on Steam at some point if I want to check it out again. Okay, so let's get into what we played. Anyone want to go first?
I could jump in there. I only played one thing. I actually going back to the Steam conversation of the Steam sale, I should say. I did buy some stuff, and now see if I can remember. I bought the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, the Contra Anniversary Collection. Let's see here.
Castlevania Advance?
Was that a different game? I don't remember.
Yeah, that one's $16. The one you bought is $5, I think.
Oh, okay. No, I just got the regular one. Let's see here. Do I have my? Anyways, I bought a game called Pixel Puzzle Makeout League, which is a Picross game.
Oh, this guy was looking for more of those.
Yes, remember I was asking about it? And it's pretty good. It's got I would say the art style is not as good as whatever the Picross game I was playing before. I'm totally blanking on it right now. Frank, you played a lot of it too.
Murder.
Yeah, Murder by Numbers. That's what it's called. And they also, the puzzles are like timed, so you only get like 5 minutes to complete the puzzle. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's not so bad right now, but I'm thinking later on when the puzzles get more difficult, I hope they give you like 15 or 20 minutes.
I'm looking at a future puzzle and I see a timer of like 14 minutes at least. So
okay.
Prayers have been answered.
Excellent. There's another thing that I'm not sure if I like or not. So in Murder by Numbers, if you were to fill in all the correct boxes but not put the X's in the incorrect boxes, it would just like auto tell you that that's correct. In this game, you need to fill in every single square properly for it to tell you that the row or column is correct. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. Now, it will auto pop the puzzle if you get all the correct squares, but it doesn't tell you necessarily that your row or column is correct. So I'm not totally sold on that.
Not sold on you using the term auto pop for anything but PlayStation trophies. Don't you dare.
Sorry, that's Blue Haze copyright term. Got it. Sorry, autocomplete. Let's say autocomplete the row.
I will accept that.
So that design choice, I'm not totally sold on if I like it or not. It's not bad, but I think I like the Murder by Numbers method better. It just makes it a little. I'm not wasting my time to verify that I got it right.
But it's drag a right click. Deal with it, dude. It takes 2 seconds.
Well, I'm more meticulous with my clicks. And also, the weird thing I found is if you put the wrong... Now, this may change later on. I don't know. I'm not that far in. I only played for about half an hour. But if you make a mistake, like if you accidentally hit X instead of square, or whatever you call it, it will give you like an error sound and then put the proper thing in. So it like auto completes for you. And I don't know if there's like a time penalty. I haven't noticed yet, but I found that kind of strange that, whereas in Murder by Numbers, it just let you make mistakes. It didn't tell you at all. So this goes the opposite way and it tells you as soon as you make a mistake. So I've only made a couple mistakes because I hit the wrong button. But I'm not sure how I feel about that either. But I guess if they're trying to get you to complete the puzzles faster, it makes sense that you don't have to kind of waste your time. But if there's no... I'm surprised there must be some sort of penalty, but I don't know. I haven't noticed it yet. There's also, just like Murder by Numbers, lots of dialogue. Lots and lots of dialogue going on. So that's a lot of skipping I'm doing. But, you know... overall, it's kind of fun. It's got like 5 main characters, and each character is like a type of puzzle. So the main character is Picross, like the actual game. Then there's like Sudoku, crossword, chess, and whatever, 2 others that I'm forgetting. Checkers probably, and something else. So that's kind of neat, like that they have these characters based off of the games. And so I don't think you get to play any other games in this game, but I'm, like I said, not very far.
I saw in my screenshots here a rhythm, like Guitar Hero game almost as a mini.
Oh, yeah?
I think, yeah.
Oh, interesting. So maybe you do play some other stuff. I just realized the other 2 games I bought were Risk of Rain and Risk of Rain 2, which I have not tried yet. And I think there's one other game in there that I purchased. Yakuza 0, I think I purchased. And that's it. That's it for me.
Nice. I did not play too much this week. I guess I'll mention, I don't think I talked about this game before, but I've played it a bunch over the past months with the kids. So there's that Escape Academy game that's coming out on Game Pass next month, or maybe this month. I'm not sure. Sometime this summer. But when the trailer for that first came out, we talked about it. Somebody in the Discord mentioned there's already kind of a game like this called Escape Simulator. I don't remember who recommended it. Maybe Patrick, but whoever it was, thank you. I did pick it up at some point. And so it's a co-op escape room game, But what's cool about this one that I don't think Escape Academy has is you can build your own escape rooms with it as well. So it's got like a level editor and everything. But the one thing that I wasn't so impressed by, that I'm curious how Escape Academy handles it, is that like the rooms are pretty small. So like if you're actually trying to go through this escape room and solve puzzles with a friend, you're both just kind of like right beside each other, like looking at all the same things, opening all the same drawers, and just kind of getting in each other's way. Like it didn't feel like there was a lot of stuff made for co-op. And, you know, like I guess I don't know what you would do outside of, like, you know, you think of how escape rooms work and you kind of just talk about things. Like it's not like you're both pulling a lever at the same time, or
sure you could. That could be a huge part of it.
I mean, yeah, you can add that kind of stuff. I'm just thinking like in real escape rooms, that's generally not, like, it's more the collaboration is just working through the puzzles, talking about it.
I've never been in an escape room in my life. I've never done a simulation for an escape room. Are they designed, I assume, with min and max player, or like you need at least so many people in a room? Because if that's the case, I would think they are designed for co-op challenges. Are there people who solo escape rooms or something like that? Like, is that a thing too?
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's certain ones are recommended for a certain number of people. And, you know, like, I guess, again, like, I've only done a couple real escape rooms, but, you know, it's more like divide and conquer. Like, a couple people go do this puzzle, a couple people go do this puzzle, and then come back and meet in the middle kind of thing. But, yeah, just something about doing that in this game where you're not really, there's no room to move around. You're just kind of, I don't know, it felt kind of claustrophobic, I guess. But, you know, I only tried it maybe 3 or 4 different levels, so maybe there's bigger ones that I haven't got to yet. But, you know, that being said, it's kind of what it says in the title, so if that's of interest to you, you might want to check it out.
Cool. I have been playing Cuphead. Now, of course, Cuphead DLC, The Delicious Last Course, came out on Thursday, and I was like, I kind of want to play the DLC, but I never actually beat Cuphead. So I started Cuphead again on Steam, and I was liking it more than I remember liking it previously. Again, I am still blown away by the art style. It might be the best art style I've ever seen in a video game in my life. The animation on every character, like each phase, stage, like sub-enemy that spawns, everything about it is so polished. The backgrounds, I've never been more impressed by an indie game, and possibly any game in the history of video games, especially considering the size of the team of Cuphead. It's ridiculous. It still blows my mind. So it's still one of the best looking games ever, and I'm almost at the end now, getting ready for the DLC, which is getting very good reviews. So hopefully by next week I've beaten it. My only complaints with Cuphead are because, you know, this dedication to an art style and old school animation, the visual language can be confusing at times. Like what you can pass through, what will hit you, what won't. I feel like there's a little bit of polish lacking on collisions, things that can kill you off screen that are still there when they go past the edge of the screen. It could use a very high polish pass for some of the design stuff, but it is really close to nitpicking. It is still, and I guess my general original complaints about Cuphead, where some of the stuff I just talked about falls under the umbrella of hard for the sake of being hard, so the game is longer than it would be if it was just like a average difficulty. It would be like a 2-hour game or something like that. So they kind of arbitrarily up the difficulty of everything. Oh, and some RNG stuff really drives me crazy in that game. Like time between like phases and moves, and how many things spawn and where they spawn. One example is, I can't remember the name of the boss, but this mouse in a tin can, and it shoots these bombs, and it's totally random, like the range and the timing of these bombs, and it's just like luck of the draw with RNG stuff that can get frustrating. So those are my minor gripes with Cuphead, but I've definitely enjoyed returning to it.
I saw that DLC was released, and I really want to jump into it, but I'm kind of terrified that since it's been like, I don't know, 2 years since I played that game, that I will just get destroyed when I try that DLC.
Yeah, it's tough. I blew through all the bosses I had done previously. I went through the first 2 worlds. I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember all these bosses. It wasn't too bad. And then just the new bosses I faced, I'm like, I didn't know their patterns or kind of what the gist of the boss was. So I think you could jump into the DLC. As far as I know, it's like a new island. I don't think it's like a full-scale game, but it's only $9.99, which is pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm. It is an interesting question, though. Like, for something like that, like, is the DLC meant to, like, first of all, can you just play the DLC standalone, or do you have to?
I'm almost positive you need Cuphead.
Okay. And so, like, that almost implies that, well, you've beat the game, so now the difficulty level that we're starting at for the DLC is going to be, like,
well, yeah, that's my observation about that. I haven't made it to the final boss yet, but I don't feel like there's that big of a jump in difficulty from island to island in that game. I think it's they're kind of scaled evenly. The first few bosses are relatively simple, but I don't know. They're all kind of complicated, and each boss or run and gun level has their own difficulty curve of like learning the layout and phases, basically. So I don't know. I could see that game lending itself well to DLC.
Yeah, my concern would be more like just trying to remember the controls and the buttons and all that stuff.
My pro tip for Cuphead players, you must map your dash to a shoulder button. Shoot is on A by default, and or we'll say the south face button is shoot and the north face button is dash, and you have to take your finger off shoot to go to dash. Move your dash to a shoulder so you can dash and still hold shoot down.
And just to be totally clear, you do definitely need the base game. It says on Steam it is required.
Yeah, and I know there was a patch for the game saying prepping for DLC. So anything? I have more, unless you guys have more as well.
Nothing for me.
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to give a quick shout out. I did it in the Discord too. Can't remember if I've done it officially on the show. Pac-Man 99, the Battle Royale Pac-Man with Nintendo Online, like the free game. There's lots of different... I like how Nintendo does these weird retro takes on Battle Royale, like Mario 35, and, not doing the traditional shooter Battle Royale. If you like Pac-Man, like the core mechanics of Pac-Man, you gotta try Pac-Man 99. It is a very addictive Battle Royale game, and like, as a person who really likes Pac-Man, it's my favorite way to play it. Like, the rounds are fast, it's satisfying. I always love the Championship Edition versions of those games, but as something to play kind of continuously and each, like, with a competitive angle, it is a great game and free with Nintendo Online, I think.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard good things.
Highly recommend. And lastly, I'm about 7 hours in, maybe more, into Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I am enjoying this game. I really like the real-time combat, although I get my ass kicked very frequently, and I don't really know why sometimes. I don't know if I'm not getting something about the game. I feel like I have everything down, and then some enemy is the same level as me and they destroy me and I have no idea why. So part of it, I think, is, at least in the early stages of the game, it's constantly shifting up your party, and sometimes you only have 2 people or 1, and I feel like a lot of these enemies are designed to be fought with 3 people in your party. And if I ever went against some enemies on my own or with one other person, it didn't work that well. I kind of miss being able to switch people on the fly in Final Fantasy VII Remake, because everyone has different powers and arts, and I like that Final Fantasy VII Remake added a way of switching during battle. I don't know if Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or 3 added this, but I would like to see it. But other than that, I like the world. I like the creatures. People say the story's great. I don't find it that amazing so far, but I do like just, a 10-year-old game. It feels like an old school JRPG, and I'm just in the mood for something like that right now. And the fast travel and load times are really good. It's easy to get from place to place. I'm not in love with this game at this point, but it's pretty good, and we'll see if I stick with it, how long this Nintendo Switch phase lasts, which was initiated by a summer sale where I got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for the staggeringly low price of $56 Canadian.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about, with Xenoblade 3 coming out, people are like, I got to go back and beat 1 and 2. And it's like, those games are so long. It's like, who's actually going to do that?
I put a message on the Discord, and everyone who replied is like, yeah, I liked it, never finished it. I really want to go. I'm guilty of this too. But I qualify it. When I say a game is on my list or I love a game, it's very rare that I haven't beaten it. I know Jay is thinking about Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, and I fully admit that it wasn't. I didn't play a lot of games that year. I didn't have a lot to put on my list. But nowadays, I like to beat games before I say they're great, and no one beats Breath of the Wild except for Sean, and everyone loves it. So it's okay. Don't beat it. Did you beat it, Huck? You beat that game?
No, I found the last area had such a spike in difficulty that I couldn't beat it. I literally.
Are we talking Xenoblade or Breath of the Wild?
Sorry, Xenoblade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. No. You know what?
And I was already 90
phasing
hours
out of Nintendo. I'm done.
Yeah, I was 90 hours in or something like that, 80, 90 hours in, and I was like, I gotta grind now after playing this long, not happening. So that's when I checked out of that game.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying.
All right, well, I think that's it. So segueing into the Discord, if you want to join the Discord, it is the link is in our YouTube video, youtube.com/GameJunk. And, if you're there, if you're checking it out...
To be specific, in the description for the YouTube video.
In the description for the YouTube video, you will find a Discord link, which you can click on and join the Game Junk Discord server. It's a nice, reasonable pace of game talk. And if you're on the YouTube, just for the hell of it, just like and subscribe, or what fucking people say about that stuff. Do whatever people say. Do it for ours. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I was actually going to ask, I was going to do reverse junk mail where I ask questions, but we do not have time for that. So maybe next week for the YouTube. And it's not like thoughtful questions. It's like, I want to know how to do this. Tell me how to do what I want to do with a PC. But I think that's it. Hopefully, for the love of God, something interesting will happen in the world of video games for next week. And we'll have some meat to chew on for once. Either way, thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye.